the end of the day, why we here, right? I think it says there, we want to build generational wealth, right? We don't want to do a strategy where we upfront get a lump sum of money, we buy something, because then that does nothing for us, right? We want to create some consistent income that can actually change our lives and our families' lives. So Airbnb rental arbitrage doesn't do that. What I utilize Airbnb rental arbitrage for is to create that crazy cash flow, because you get a larger volume of cash flow. And then I pump that back into my business and I use that towards affordability. So say I've got affordability for a million rand bond, for argument's sake, of a student accommodation or multi-let that I want to buy. With the income I make from Airbnb, I can leverage that. Let's say high season's 4 months. Typically a bank looks at 3 month statements, right? Because my income's so much higher with the Airbnb, that makes an extra 20, 30K on average. Now I can look at student accommodations or multi-lets to the value of 3 million rand, equivalent to the gross yield I had at 1 million rand. So now I'm earning a lot more and I own that asset. So it helps you to buy bigger properties, more flats, bigger. That's purely what it's utilized for. I think if you're using it as a piggy bank to go buy a nice new car or just spoil yourself over December, I think that's the wrong strategy to leverage Airbnb rental arbitrage.
I think it's very important that everything that you do, you you get the right professionals involved. So anything that has to do with taxation, get a tax attorney, a tax practitioner to do it for you. There are accountants specifically who are focused on tax. So it doesn't help to want to do everything on your own. Business is a team sport. So if you are making money, the mere fact that you have to pay tax means you are making money, because nobody who's not making money is going to be paying tax, right? And sometimes you'll overpay because you don't have the right people who are assisting you. And no matter how much Lebo and I or Dean knows about property, we don't know a lot about tax because it's very specialized. So when you're dealing with a person that deals with tax, that's the person that's going to assist you. And then on the question, and remember when I say tax, I mean everything else. If it's a law problem, find an attorney. If it's a conveyancing problem, find a conveyancer. Every single thing that you've got a problem for, there's somebody who's got a solution for it. Find the right person to help you for that solution. Then you ask that if you're blacklisted, right? How do you how do you get back into the property game? Remember, the property industry is not only about owning the property. I think that's where we get it wrong. You think I need to own the property in order for me to work in the property industry. There's a lot of things that one can do within the industry that have got nothing to do with owning. Who cleans your property?
Cleaners? What's
The
that?
cleaners.
Yeah.
Do they own it?
No.
Are they making money from property?
Yes.
So they're playing an active role in the property space, Airbnb. So let's assume one of the cleaners was smart enough to set up a business that makes it easier for all the Airbnb owners in Cape Town to have their properties be cleaned efficiently and guests taken care of. Would that be something you would pay for if it's saving you money and time?
Yes, because there's value.
Do you see what I mean? So it's not always about I wanna do buy to let or I wanna do Airbnb. No, every industry, check it out. And also if you've got maybe judgments in your name, find ways in which you can solve that. If it means you need to sit down with your creditors and look at payment plans, do that. And it passes. So if there's a 3 year period or whatever period you need to wait, I don't know, you need to find the people or the companies that deal specifically with assisting you, get your name cleared. But it all boils down to now financial planning, financial management, and debt management, and ensuring that you're paying off the debt, especially if you want to continue to get funding from the banks. I answer. Because within the industry, right? So, and I understand where you're coming from. We are asking because you still have the desire to buy. You want to buy. And you don't always have to buy. He's just said he made 250,000 for 10 days from a property he doesn't own. Did you say you own the property?
No, I don't know that.
You don't own the property. You rent it.
Yes.
But here's somebody who wants to own. And that's the thing. Maybe let me quickly close it off like this. In anything in life, there is control, there is ownership. You don't own the property, but for as long as you've got the lease on it, you control it.
Yes.
You control who comes in and out of it. You even make more money than the owner of the property
Yes.
because you control it, right? So meaning you are playing the game in such a way that you are using law of contracts to control that game. So should the landlord want to unlawfully take away the property from you right now, you've got recourse. You can take him to court. It makes you too much money for him to want to take it away from you like that.
Yeah.
But the contract protects you. Can you see that? So now the game is not even property anymore. It's the law of contracts. How do you play this game? You don't necessarily have to own everything. Chances are, and I'm not fighting, right? Chances are you probably don't own your car even if you bought it through the bank. It's fair. You don't own it yet, but you control it. A property, even when you've bonded it, for as long as you don't have the title deed, you don't own it yet. But you control it. You can do renovations on it, increase the value, and then you can even sell it and get a higher amount or refinance it, get the money out. Control is more important than ownership. You can own something that's worth 100,000 and he can control something that's worth 10 million. How much is that property?
Probably 14, I think.
14 million. Hence, it's able to make you that much money, but you don't even own it. You want to say something on that?
Oh, well, I'll be honest, I can't afford a 14 million rand property. So to actually have a situation where I can rent it and benefit from it by controlling it, it can open those doors, right?
Imagine if you were hell-bent on, I want to afford the property. One, maybe financially, you wouldn't be able to, right? So whether it's got a good credit or not, at the time when you were taking it up, the credit didn't really matter at that moment because you were not going to afford it anyway. But you were smart enough to use the credit part to say, can I rent this thing?
And I think that's the important thing is that you can have roadblocks, right? For a particular deal or strategy you want to do, but you can have roadblocks, whether it's finance and stuff, and you've got to be strategic, whether it's installment sales, rent to rent, just not looking at the traditional getting finance through the bank purchasing, looking at these other strategies and being creative with these roadblocks and not giving up, you can actually run a 14 million